Today we're going to unbox WLtoys, the little 1/18 scale buggy, and it's the 959 B, which my guess means bigger, badder, bodacious motor, the big 540. And years ago, the 540 only came in 1/10 scale RC stuff. The things I had, Kyosho and Traxxas, that motor was in the big 1/10. So now WLtoys is packing it in a little 1/18 scale. So I will go ahead and cut all the zip ties, and we'll skip to that so I don't bore everybody. So hang on. Okay. A few zip ties later, this is what we got, and I love green, so I got the green one, got my green shirt on just for the occasion. Now this is why I bought this little bugger. Okay, comparison, a PX Toys. This is a 380 size motor. Here's our 540. The 540 can is longer, it's a whole lot bigger. The 380 is just a little baby. So that's why I got this thing upgraded right from the factory with the 540, Dean's connectors. The shocks, the guys are saying there's a little bit of oil in them, so I will take it apart and confirm that. And I guess you got to fill them yourself. I'll put 20 W50 oil in it. That's what I run in my other vehicles, because now I live in the Philippines and it's always hot here, so thicker oil helps them out. So that's kind of cool that you can fill them with oil, don't have to upgrade them yet until you wreck them, and then you can upgrade them. And then with the 540 version, we have all metal little drive cups and metal axles and bearings, and I think the differential gears are metal in there too. And since the earlier one, they upgraded to a metal reduction gear and everything, so it should be pretty good to go. Best thing about these WLtoys, you can buy all the replacement plastic parts, or you can get all the upgraded aluminum parts, whole chassis, everything, shock towers, aluminum. So the sky's the limit on these things. I think I'll just pretty much keep it plastic, because that way it's nice and flexible, not so heavy. I think there's pros and cons. Some guys say you gotta do aluminum, but I've had some aluminum Traxxas in the US, the chassis were bent from too much jumping, where this, yeah, it'll bend until it breaks, and then you gotta figure out what you want to do. So then, hidden inside of our box in the bottom is our transmitter, and I believe it's 4 AA batteries, and then you got your power switch here, and a real nice foam steering wheel, and then the digital trims for left and right and speed and your antenna. And looks like a nice spot to put a racing sticker there, because it's kind of plain right there. And it's got a ginormous owner's manual. Most of the other ones are small. I got to put on reading glasses, and you get the little 4-way lug nut wrench in there. And then the box of goodies we get, there's our wall adapter, and then the little balance charger, because it's got a LiPo. And I know the guys are saying you only get about 8 minutes run time, but it's 8 minutes of a lot of fun, because this thing is crazy. It's always upside down. I have an extra blue body on the way for my display body, and then this is the one that'll get all scratched up. I like the green, but it'll get scratched up. I usually have a display body and then my basher body, as we call it. And let's see, my only upgrade so far, I'll put a little fan on the motor. I've been doing this to all my RC trucks because I had a bad experience. First time in my life, a PX toy, the Speed Pioneer, it actually burnt the motor up and it melted the body. And it was one of the boys were driving it while I was driving my own. And what happened is the differential, for the second time, one of the plastic cups loosened up, a screw loosened up, and it bound up the drive shaft. And he was driving it, I was doing my own thing, another boy was driving a different one. So all of a sudden he comes back and he says, it's not moving anymore. And it had gotten the motor so hot from the differential binding, and the thermal cutoff switch, if it has them on, doesn't work. because the motor got so hot it melted the body. I had to take a scissors and cut that out. And I can't even get this 380 motor in the Philippines. My Lazada doesn't have parts. Banggood only has the brushless motor, but then they don't have the brushless receiver to go with it, because that would be an easy swap. Just buy those two pieces. You don't need a separate radio system with a separate receiver and a separate brushless. You could just do this all in one and brushless, but they don't have that. So what I did is I bought this guy, the same thing, WLtoys Sandyland, but then it comes with the old transmitter, and then it didn't come with the big monster truck tires like it showed in the picture. And I'm like, whatever, but I kept it and I put a fan on it right away, so it didn't have that problem blowing its motor. But already now the differentials are making some clicking noises between reverse and forward, click, 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 so it's already having problems. And then this old style transmitter, every couple minutes it unbinds. Its light starts flashing, the light starts flashing on the truck, and I've tried 3 sets of brand new batteries in it, and it still will unbind. So you have to shut it off, wait, turn it back on, and it will rebind. So just saying, I have bad luck with WLtoys. 2 out of 2 have problems. So what I do, I just use the Speed Pioneer transmitter. That's the fancier one with all your adjustments on it, and that's been working okay on the Sandyland truck. But so basically all that, hopefully I have better luck with the WLtoys. I think it's built a little better, I think, and every part is available to me, stock or upgradable. So, and I went with the little buggy because I have enough monster trucks. And then so basically, like I said, fans my only upgrade. I always have these. These are the slingshot helicopters, and I cut them up to get this little LED light. And I just basically use some zip ties and I put it underneath the body, because at night is when the boys and I do our running, because it's so hot in the Philippines during the day. You'll just sweat like a pig during the day. So we do it evening and nights, and then we have our underglow lights. And then here's my little nano Turnagee 3S battery, and basically in my I've got the WLtoys, the 912, and I have the 911 monster trucks, but I got 17 miles per hour out of this stock battery, and when I do this little nano 3S, I get 20 miles per hour GPS, and that's what my heavy phone strapped in there, so it probably goes faster than that. The phone, I think, slows it down. But all that to say, this will extend my run time. I'll make sure my motor's not too hot, and I'll make sure my speed control's not too hot. Maybe let it cool down after it runs the first 8 minutes, and then this will easily fit in there. And then I can have the Need for Speed with the 3S and have a little more run time, because I guess that's mostly the complaint of the YouTube videos. If you get the standard version, you get way over 8 minutes, but if you get this modified or hot right out of the box version, you're only getting 8 minutes, but it's a fun 8 minutes. So that's about the end for now. I'll get my fan on it, I'll get all my little upgrades with my light, I'll run it, make sure everything's cool, and then we'll do a run video at the end of this. So maybe you guys can subscribe. We'll have more fun videos. I'm going to race this against the WLtoys. We'll show the WLtoys who's the boss. I'm going to race it against my WLtoys. I also have Zinglahong, the big 9125 dual motor 4x4 1/10 scale. We'll race against him. We'll race against my smaller 1/16 Zinglahong, and we'll just do a bunch of little race videos, and I'll keep in touch with the reliability of this one. I can recommend the WLtoys so far, not really a problem. Zinglahong, not a problem. The WLtoys are my problem, but I guess you can buy them as long as you have parts available, because they're gonna have to wrench on them a little bit. So stay tuned for our run video. Thanks. Little upgrades are done. There's my fan. Basically, I just used the hot melt glue gun because it's not too strong like epoxy, and just a little bit on that upper brace that goes over the main drive shaft. I just put a little bit of glue on there for the fan, and there is a mechanical built-in fan in the motor, but I just added this one back there. And then I've got my little light here. You know, you don't have to do any wiring or anything because it's got the little batteries in it, all self-contained. And for wiring up my fan, I just unplug these bullet connectors from the speed control to the motor and just pinch in the fan wires into those, and the fan will not run when you're in reverse, and it will just be slow when you're going slow, and it'll be fast when you go fast. But I think the little tiny bit of power it uses, it actually helps you out because it helps keep the motor cooler so it doesn't get all tight. And then yeah, the shocks truly did have oil in them, so I just popped them off with the needle nose pliers, unscrewed the top caps, and the oil was kind of thick, what was in there, so I just added my 20 W50. I just used like a little bottle with the nice little narrow tip on it and just topped them off, and then put the, you know, the top back on. It's got the little gasket underneath the aluminum cap, and then popped it back onto the shock mount. So now it's completely full of oil. So yeah, this little thing's amazing. When you hold it in your hand and rev it up, the tires actually balloon out when it goes wide open. So there's some major speed there, lots of centrifugal force. So if I'll keep an eye on the speed control. Some of the guys even put a little fan on that because, you know, big motor, big battery, pulling a lot of power, makes a lot of heat. So if that's getting too hot, I'll just order one more little fan and put it on there. So next we'll do a little run test and see what she can do.